But hey, we're on the courtyards of Gilgamesh. Cool. This also houses the worst encounter in the entire game, I think. Not because it's difficult, but because it's just not well balanced, I guess? I don't know. I could be just being a bitch, but whatever. So, speaking of being a bitch, I'm going to also rocket jump and skip a lot of this level, because this part is... it's not bad. I just don't like it. I think it takes way too damn long, and I just want to get it over with, because these two sections take like 10-15 minutes each, and I just want to get it cut down. So please do not hate me for what I'm about to do. Am I right in saying I can do this from the front? No, you can't. Alright. So, yeah, we get the winged lion. Hell yeah. And, oh, that was really risky. Goddamn. Oh, shit. I don't think you can make a jump back. Let's, oh shit. This is not Quake. That's all I can say. This is not the same rocket jumping that I used to know. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, you can. Anyways. Yeah, I don't hate Smash. I just don't like it very much. I don't like the stipulations you have to put on the game to make it an actual fighting game. And I think that's where I take issue with it, is if I'm not mistaken, this part's fucking hard. I'm not even gonna pretend it's not. Anyways, oh shit, that one's not dead. That was my fault. I'm also going into this with an insanely low amount of HP. So, let's try that again. This time, with different results. So, when it comes to Smash, if I'm not mistaken, there was a mechanic added, I think it was called slipping or something. I don't understand. Like, please understand this is coming from a point of I don't genuinely know. Because I don't play Smash, I don't have any interest in Nintendo products, I never have. But like, so, if I remember correctly, the creators of the game were getting irritated that players were playing with these strict meta rules, like, no this, no that, this only. I know Fox only Final Destination, I know the meme, but you know what I mean, like, I get it. As a game developer, you don't want people to abuse your system or make it not what you intended, and that's something you just gotta have to take with a grain of salt as a developer of anything, especially, like, creative properties. People are gonna change what you had in mind. They're gonna do whatever they want to it. You can't tell somebody how to play the game, and I think that's also where I take issue, is the developer is getting butthurt that people tried to make their game into a competitive game and being just genuinely unhappy, it sounds like, with the fact that people wanted, like, you know, they wanted to make the game actually a fighting game. And to me, that just strikes me as not good. I've never been a Nintendo fan at all, if I'm being honest. I think their games are just nostalgia pandering and not that exciting, and they have so little original, like, IPs and original content these days that it's just depressing. I'm not even going to say they weren't important in gaming history, or that they had a massive impact on games as a whole, but their games don't cater to what I like. I don't like casual, boring kid games, basically, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, listen, I just don't care. That's all there is to it. You have your taste, I have mine. I don't think this part, by the way, is what I was talking about. Oh shit, I might die here. That's what I get for talking shit about Nintendo, right? And they have, like, the worst fans next to Blizzard, probably, in my opinion. Yeah, I fucked this up. I'm gonna die. That's all there is to it. God, die. This is the part I was talking about. I've made this way harder by screwing up and shooting a rocket first, but yeah, I don't know. Nintendo fans are, like, probably just slightly less shitty than Blizzard fans. I'm not saying, by the way, if you like Blizzard or Nintendo, you're a shitty person. I'm talking about the Nintendo fans, right? The ones that are spending, like, $6,000 on limited edition, like, very basic amiibos, and, like, encouraging just dumb shit. Like, I don't like that. I'm also not saying if you like World of Warcraft, you're a shitty person. When I say World of Warcraft fans or Blizzard fan, whatever, I'm talking about the fan. You know what I'm talking about. That's all I can say. If you're a fan of anything, you know what I'm talking about. Like, when there's that kind of fan. And it's not to say that you can't enjoy something by that company. I absolutely fucking love Diablo 2 and Diablo 1. Do I like Blizzard as a company? Oh, fuck no. They have dug their hole, and I'm glad they dug it, because they deserve every bit of hate they get now. And I don't know, I just never liked their products. I thought Overwatch was not a good game. I can talk for hours about how I think it's a terrible fighting game. Terrible, FPS. That's just my opinion, though. My opinion should not influence what you like to buy and what you don't want to buy and what you like, and that's all I can say. It shouldn't matter what I think personally about something. If you like it, great. You're not really going to change my mind. That's the other thing, too. It's like, oh, but Nintendo has this. I'm like, cool, that's cool. That's like iteration number 77 of the same IP since like 1992. Like, or sorry, 1982, whatever the Nintendo came out. I like Metroid because I like the gameplay style, but that doesn't mean I'm a Nintendo fan. Just because I own every single 2D Metroid does not mean I'm a Nintendo fan. That just means I like an IP in that series. That's like, think about this. I love Mortal Kombat. I fucking hate Injustice. I think it's a terrible fighting game. I think it's sluggish and awkward, and I don't care about superheroes. I hate superhero culture. I hate superhero media. I just don't think it's good. And it's mediocre, and it gets a pass because it's superhero related, so everybody jizzes their pants over playing as Catwoman, okay? So I don't really give a shit. I hated MK vs. DC. It was terrible. It was a fucking awful fighting game. And don't be like, oh, it's because it wasn't violent. No, that's just, you're obviously not a fighting game person mentality. It was a shitty fighting game with shitty characters that had shitty overpowered moves that were shitty to play as. The netcoding was shit. The combo system was bunk shit. It was a bad game. Oh yeah, and there wasn't very much blood and gore. It was shit, dude. It was very bad. Do not try and kid yourself and say it was a good game. It was fucking terrible. And I played it for like 3 years, and it was fucking terrible. And this is also coming from someone who, this is like, I was like, oh wow, cool. I wasn't like disappointed when I found out it was going to be a crossover game. I said, okay, I'll buy it. And did I go, it was fucking shit, it's got superheroes, it's rated T? No, that's not why it was bad. The game was bad for a variety of reasons that I barely touched on. Like, also the story was fucking stupid. I'm not saying fighting games have to have a perfect storyline, but it read like bad fan fiction. Actually, I take that back. Bad fan fiction is better than that game's story. Bad fan fiction is better than MK11's story as a whole. But I hate when people say, yeah, but it gave us Injustice. Injustice was a piece of shit, I hated it. I played Injustice 1 and 2 numerous times, and each time I played it, I just found it slow, awkward, and not fun. And I think MK just does it better. It's just a better fighting series. The control is better, the environments are more interesting, the characters are more interesting, and I don't care about superheroes. If you like it doesn't mean you're a bad person, by the way. I just think it's a terrible fighting game. Well, what I played of it. And I played like, maybe like 4 or 5 hours each of Injustice 1 and 2. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, of course, it's fucking terrible, I played it no. I just didn't like it. It's like League of Legends. I played League of Legends, like, for maybe 2 hours, and I was like, yeah, this is not the game for me. But if you like it, more power to you. But unless, I'm just gonna say, the only objective part where you're gonna be wrong, and I'm just gonna say it, is if you say you like, if MK vs. DC is a good game, I'm just gonna tell you, nah, that's where you're just totally wrong, you have bad taste. You can like a bad thing, that's all there is to it. There's nothing wrong with having a bad taste enjoyment. Like, that's fine. You're entitled to like whatever you... I like the fucking god-awful Duke Nukem Forever game, okay? That game is awful. I'm not even gonna pretend it's good. It's not as bad as most people claim it is, I will say that. But it's not a good game. But it's a guilty pleasure. I think it's fun and stupid. And that's why it does what it serves. It's a stupid, dumb game that takes the piss out of modern gaming. Was it good? No. Was it overhyped to hell? Yes. Should that have been a lesson that we all learned? Yes. I will 100% agree. It was a lesson that everybody should have learned, that it does not matter if a game is in development for how many years was it? Like 17 or 15 years? It's still gonna be shit. It can still be bad, even with a team like Gearbox Software, which I don't really care about either. They fucked the game up. It was just so fucking overhyped and overdone that it was bad. Look at Cyberpunk 2077. That game was hot shit, and I called that. I was like, this game's not gonna do well. And I knew that the moment I saw that the coverage for it was just all over the place, everywhere. And people were like, but you could make your character have a penis. I'm like, great, if that's why you buy games, you have very low standards as a person. That's like when someone says they bought X, Y, and Z. Actually, I've heard this argument about Mafia 3. Someone was like, oh, Mafia 3, you play as a black guy, and then there's racism. I'm like, is that the only thing you focused on in the game? Because if that's the only thing you focused on, that sounds like it's the only thing that you cared about in the game. I get it, some people buy things for certain reasons, like, I love Duke Nukem Forever because it's a piece of shit. But when people objectively forget that video games are for entertainment and are fun, and they only focus on things, it's like buying Mortal Kombat because it's got blood in it. It's like, this is pretty bloody. Why is that? That's what I mean. Like, I can't stand when people do that. It pisses me off. It's almost as bad as impulse buying, except, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me why people just buy shit to buy shit. It's like saying you bought Overwatch because it's progressive. Like, that says so much about you as a person at that point, that A, you're probably not a quote-unquote gamer, and I hate that word already, but it's like, if that's like why you buy a game, that says so much about you as a person. That's all I can always say. It's like consumer culture is so specific, but it's like, and then the moment you say, yeah, but the game's terrible, and then someone says, well, therefore, ergo, you must be homophobic, sexist, whatever. It's like, no, the game's just terrible, and you have bad taste. That's all there is to it. There's some arguments that can be summed up quite simply just like that. And it sucks because it's never been this bad. Like, back in the day, the only thing you had to worry about was, do you like Sega or do you like, you know, Nintendo? If you were one of those mutants that had like a ZDX Spectrum or something, yeah, you're weird. But that was about it. You didn't have to worry about, like, do you not like this? You're a fucking idiot. Like, do I think console games are ancient history? Yeah, sure, totally, I do. But I love the PS1 and PS2. I gotta adjust my headset. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't understand it. Like, I can say a game is bad, and I can understand why it's bad. But when you're just like, oh, it's bulletproof, it's like Final Fantasy. I'm like, I don't like Final Fantasy at all. I don't think Final Fantasy deserves half of the shit that it gets. Not because I hate anime, it's because it's just not that good. I don't know what people see in it. It's like Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, no, you only like Kingdom Hearts because you grew up with it and you like Disney because you're a man-child. That's what my instincts tell me. I played fucking Final Fantasy VII. I played Final Fantasy 13. I played Final Fantasy 8. I played Final Fantasy 10. I fucking hated them. I thought they were terrible games. I don't see why people like them. I played maybe 2 hours of Kingdom Hearts and said, this shit's fucking stupid. And I had to turn it off. I had to turn off Final Fantasy 13 because it was so cringy and awful. I said, I can't do this, and I had to turn it off. I was like, it was a gift, so I was respectful, but it was awful. I don't understand Why, it's like, that's the thing, they're just basically bulletproof to criticism because people have such strong feelings towards it. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Guess what? MK4 is fucking terrible. It is a horrible game. Like, it is lazy, unbalanced, unfinished, unpolished, ugly, fucking awful game. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Yeah, it's fantastic, but the game is so fucking broken beyond repair that if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the fact there's no breakers, so combos can just go for like 20 hits, and you can't do shit. It's literally just whiff punishing and waiting for whiff punishing to end. That's it. There's no in between. That's really unbalanced. There's also a power-up system in that game where your character just does like, oh, I don't know, what is it, like 50% damage, and the damage doesn't scale? So characters can do up to I think Natara can do like 139% damage combo. It's very difficult to pull off, but getting extra damage for just tapping R1, yeah, that's really shitty. That's a really bad mechanic. I'm not gonna say it's balanced at all. Deception, combo scaling, huge massive thing. Breaker system, fucking wonderful. No longer getting stuck in whiff punishing only combos. Like, if you can't understand why those things are critical to game design and you just say, oh, it's flawless, that's stupid. Armageddon, it's not very good. It's very unbalanced. A lot of the characters play virtually identical. There's not really any depth or complexity. The parry system is okay. I don't think it's terrible. It's not the worst thing ever. It serves its purpose. It's good. Character customization? Dude, seriously? Do I even have to explain to you why that is so fucking broken? I'm dead serious. If you knew, and I did this online, so I can say, yeah, I was that guy. If you knew what moves could chain very easily, you just had a broken, overpowered character. And I don't know. That, to me, was hilarious to do. Oh my god, that game was so broken. Like, the Conquest mode's cool. Yeah, it's nice. It's like Shaolin Monk's Diet. I'm not gonna say it's terrible. It's fun. I will always say the Conquest mode in that game, very fun, very fluid. But it's very short, and there's not a lot of depth to it. Like, there's no more, like, fun, jokey content in that game, and that's where NetherRealm stopped doing this. A lot of the content in that game is just, you know, here's some promo renders, right? Like, I get it. It's hard to develop extra content for a game, but Armageddon is really not that great of a game. It's good, but it's not as good as you think it is, and I'm saying this having played it numerous times. I have probably sank countless years of my life playing that game. So this is safe to assume that what I'm saying is coming from not only a fan, but an actual, like, objectively thinking person. Like, yeah, Armageddon's cool, but why do you like Armageddon so much? It's got character customization, it's got every character in the game, and yeah, and look what happened. The characters either play way too similarly, or are incredibly overpowered. No one will understand because the servers are dead, but I want you to, if you've done this, please verify this. Serena online was absolutely fucking overpowered. Meat had no business being as good as he was. He was a dumb, jokey character, and he had the most fucking ludicrous amount of bullshit. He had like a very fast taunt. He had like, well, what else did he have? He had a very fast taunt. He had like a teleport attack, a wake up special attack. He had like fucking, like, he had like zoning up the ass. His moves were very solid. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, that game is fun.
Look, enough lead for everybody.
Yeah, enough lead.
Serious carnage.
But no joke, it's not as good as you think it is. Deception arguably is the best 3D era MK game because it's very balanced. And I mean, yeah, there's still shit you can exploit. Like, there's a lot of, like, there's, I think, a 2-player bug that's prevalent that's really bad. But, you know, you don't play with that, like, in mind. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff to it. Conquest mode was better than Armageddon's, that's for damn sure. It's also a hell of a lot better than, you know, nothing, I guess. Chess combat was very fun, although you can argue just pick pawn pieces as your best character and you don't have to worry. Like, think about that for a minute. You get the most of your best character. So, yeah, it's fun, but usually you had to play by some spice. Like, I didn't play it online because it was so long afterwards, but yeah, chess combat was great, but it didn't really matter. Usually you had to play by Armageddon rules, or sorry, Annihilation rules, which meant you had to get a victory by killing every single unit before you could take on a chess piece, right? Or the king piece. So, yeah, I get it. Like, it was still cool. Puzzle combat was just fun. That's all there is to it. It was a very fun little gimmicky thing. And I also love Deception because it came with a demo of fucking Area 51. Think about that for a second. Why is that texture gone? On the left there. But, yeah, it was very, very... It was polished. It was refined. It had a actually very good story. Like, I'm talking like arcade endings and the actual story to the game were pretty damn cool. Yeah, there's a lot of ambiguous shit, like, most people didn't know that Raiden was the one that, like, resurrected Liu Kang. Like, I'm sure you're like, huh? But yeah, it was Raiden. Raiden resurrects Liu Kang. You know, why is Raiden bad? Is he good? What the hell's going on, right? You know, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, Deception isn't perfect. No, there's no such thing as a perfect game anyways, but... Well, maybe Doom 1, but whatever, that's bias. That's my bias right there. So yeah, there was totally, like, there's so many more objective things I can think of that make, you know, Armageddon is not as good as you think it is. It's fluid, it's very fast, but all the characters are basically the same, and you don't have very much variety. Yeah, they have, like... I don't care about fatalities, first of all, in MK. That is just secondary. Like, to me, that's just set dressing. It's like croutons in a salad. It's there, it's nice that it's there. You don't really need croutons to make a good salad, though. You see what I'm trying to say here? But at the same time, I think that being able to look at things objectively and constructively and actually, you know, taking off your nostalgia glasses makes things very, 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 like, important, because you can't just say something's flawless. Whenever someone says, Final Fantasy's flawless, I just go, yeah, sure, that's just your really shitty bias. The games are complicated and stupid stories, the characters are just stereotypical anime tropes, the world is just anime wish-wash 3000 version. Oh, that's not missing, never mind. You know, to me, it's just boring. It's just cliche, and I don't care. But I don't like anime, so that, my opinion, really shouldn't matter. Like, it shouldn't matter what I think of, well, your favorite things, either. I absolutely think that I don't really care about, like, you know, movies. You may be the biggest movie fan ever, man. But to me, I'm like, movies are just secondary, they're not important. That's like the people that generally, like, fucking worship the ground the NRS. This is a really bad idea. The NRS era MK fans that just only know Mortal Kombat because of, like, the reboot and stuff. They're usually the people that are like, the movie, that was 100% a me fuck up. That was all my fault. I'll start that over. I wish it wasn't this far back, but whatever. It gives me a chance to explain. It's like the people like, oh, the film, that's the only thing that matters because it's got a film, now it's validated. It's like, who gives a shit? A film and a movie are two different things. Or, sorry, yeah, they're the same thing, whatever. But, a film and a video game are two different mediums, and they're totally different experiences. Also, why does it matter if something has a film? Like, I don't understand why that matters so hard to certain people. Like, is it just because it's validated that it's good enough to get a blockbuster release. The Mortal Kombat films are shit. I'm just gonna say that. They're not canon and they're not good. The first one is cheesy and stupid, but it's not a good film. The new Mortal Kombat film, yeah, guess what? It's just average. It's not that exciting. Oh, but what about the lore in this one where they're all people and the Baraka's the surgeon? It's like, dude, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, first of all, that's a film, not the game series. It's cool, I get it, it's cool. It's like, oh, it's like what I like, but what if your favorite thing's not in it? What if your character that you like's not in it? Why did they kill Natara off in like 5 fucking minutes? That's so stupid to me. But like, you see what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion on what's good and what's bad. That's like the people that like Ferrator. I'm like, cool, you like Lollybait, I see. Like, that's what it strikes me as. I've never liked Ferrator. It's just awful character design. I'm sorry. It's just Master Blaster with Lollybait, and I don't understand why people like it. It's like when they're like, oh, I like Tiny Tina. I'm like, oh, you like Lollybait, do you? Like, that's all it makes me think every single time. But it's just like a Borderlands movie. So is it? I don't care. Like, Borderlands is a game that is basically Diablo with guns. But Jack Black's gonna be the thing, and I'm like, I don't know why that's so damn important. Jack Black's a human being, first of all. He is not a character, he's Jack Black. That's, first of all, get that out of your mind, right? But why does it matter? That's like when they casted fucking Ronda Rousey in MK11. She was a terrible, god-awful voice actress. Her performance was god-awful, and everyone jumps on the conclusion, oh, you must be a misogynist. No, it's called she's just a bad voice actress. I don't even care that she's a fan of the games. That's like saying, you should voice Scorpion because I am a fan of the game. It's like, that doesn't equal shit. Like, being a fan of something and being privileged to do something is great. Yeah, totally, I understand. But they only put Ronda Rousey in because she's a woman and she's the fighter, and you try to put that in any other context and people don't want to hear that. It's like, yeah, she's not a good voice actress. She's fucking terrible. Her performance is so subpar. It's not even like, I can't even think of like a word other than just either mediocre or subpar. And I'd say mediocre is worse than subpar, because let's face it, she's not a good voice actress. Why the fuck would she have any business? And they changed the face model of the character to her. You know, if you wanted Ronda Rousey in your game so goddamn bad, why didn't you just make her a character? Rather than changing what's... it really pisses me off. I don't like when celebrities get injected into games already, because I feel like it's a cash grab thing. Because, oh, look, we have strong woman Ronda Rousey. She punches people. It's like, cool. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I used to watch boxing and shit for a long time when I was a kid. So, like, I understand fights are way more complex than just punching someone. But, like, I don't give a shit. Like, Ronda Rousey's not a good actress. She's not a bad fighter in real life. She's fine. I don't really know a lot about her, but as far as I'm concerned, she does a good job. But when it comes to MK, why? Why? Just have... It's also like when people are like, oh, Ashley Birch is gonna voice... Ashley Birch voices fucking everything. Why does it matter? Like, her voice is so common to me that, like, it just sounds like white noise. I'm like, okay, it's her, okay. Like, it's like when you hear Jim Cummings and you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm so sick of hearing Jim Cummings' voice. Like, even as a kid, I was like, Jesus, Jim Cummings is in so many things. Like, he's in a... It's because he has a very open checkbook, I'm guessing, but he has, like, just 4 or 5 voices he puts on, and then it gets used. I'd rather have some Joe Schmo, like, go in and do something, because, to me, that's more integrity. I know that's probably... Oh, fuck this. I'm using a smart bomb. Maybe it's hypocritical, because I guess, like, but... What the hell was that? Okay, whatever. I guess we're starting that over. Like, I just don't get it. Like, why would you want one conglomerative person to just do everything? That doesn't make sense to me. My favorite singer is Jonathan Davis from Korn, but that doesn't mean I think he needs to fucking sing every song over. Not every song would sound good. Okay, maybe, but you see what I mean? Okay, a good example of this as a metal fan. Tobias Forge, he didn't do this with Ghost, but he's the singer of Ghost, right? And he has a wonderful singing voice. But when he tried doing this cover of Enter Sandman, which, by the way, is the most fucking overrated song ever by Metallica, I don't know why people like it so damn much. But, I mean, I love it. It's just, it's so overdone. It's also like, oh, it's Enter the Sandman. I'm like, why are you saying it like that? That's not even the name of the song. Anyways, like, would I say Tobias Forge's voice should be on every single song ever? Because his performance was subpar. And I'm not saying he did a terrible job, but I get it. It's live, it's pressure. It's like, I love Manson, but do I think he needs to have every song covered ever because reasons? No. Because that's terrible. I want to hear something new and different. I want to hear something that's interesting and unique. When I hear Jim Cummings, Ashley Birch, and, like, the other chick that's similar to Ashley Birch, I just can't remember her name off the top of my head. It's like, why? Why would you want everybody to be that? It's like, I don't understand how comic book fans can accept that their entire fandom is absorbed by Disney. That is haunting and very uncomfortable to think of. To me, at least, it is. Because I'm like, why would you want one company, and only one, to just absorb all of your things into their own thing? That's just creepy. I don't know why anybody would ever want that. That is just awful. Like, that, the fact that something can be monopolized like that is awful. Like, Disney is a shitty, shady company that's so fucking standard and appeals to children that them absorbing other things just for the sake of copyright is fucking horrifying. I don't know how anybody could even think that that's not creepy. Like, that's like basic psychology, right? Like, do you really want one company just absorbing all things ever and then just stagnating it to the... It's like Star Wars. Star Wars got fucking terrible. Actually, Star Wars was terrible after George Lucas destroyed it. Alright, he didn't destroy it totally. I will say there's scenes and stuff I like in the prequels. They're not the worst thing ever. They're just poorly written and poorly directed. The fact that they can be improved in certain aspects shows that they're not the worst thing ever, but I wouldn't say they're great either. I think Episode 1 is atrociously bad. Episode 2 has just got really shitty dialogue and really shitty aesthetic, I guess. But then once, like, you know, Disney absorbed Star Wars and used it in everything, I started to really... It's like The Mandalorian, cool, the Solo film that tanked, and then you have, like, the really stupid ending of the technical trilogy thing, whatever. Like, it's so much. It's so overdone. It's Star Wars this, Star Wars that, Star Wars this, Star Wars that. It's like, can't we just think of something else sci-fi? Like, just make a sci-fi universe that's based entirely off of germs. That's fucking cool. I'd do that. You should do that too. Make it. Make it so.